Part 27. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 261. Chapter 261 The Missing Sharinan. Onaki and Luosha fell silent. Sarutobi Hiruzen's handwriting, this kind of thing is impossible for Satoru to use as a joke. So, here now, Satoru represents the three generations of Naruto Sarutobi Hiruzen, and is equal to the two of them in terms of status. As for strength, Onaki chose to skip this one. But Luosha obviously didn't think so. Except for the miraculous Flying Thunder God technique, he has not seen the extent of Wu's strength with his own eyes. Great Master, Konoha accepted the mediation, but we didn't accept it? Luosha winked at Joe, who silently took out the puppet scroll. In short, mediation should be based on strength. Whether it's you, the Archmage, or this, Xiao's leader, things are actually very simple. Luosha stretched out his arms. During this period of time, he has collected a huge amount of placer gold. The situation we are facing now is that a large-scale military operation has evolved into a small-scale battle among us. If you show us the strength to convince us, naturally you can talk about anything. The gold dust formed several huge spikes behind him. And if you are not strong enough, then take advantage of today to open the passage to the Kingdom of Rain and go straight to Konoha. Ha! The fourth Kaze cage is really refreshing, and this old man agrees. Onoki was originally a little afraid of Wu's strength, but now, his side and Shayin village are in an alliance, and the two people are all by his side. This is almost equivalent to the fighting power of the Five Shadows. Even if Wu's fighting power is astonishing, what can those three young men on the opposite side do? Ninja world, after all, we still have to rely on strength to speak. Come on, let us see if you have the qualifications to say such words. So we still have to fight. Wu shook his neck, and the staff in his hand lit up with light. However, the third generation of Tukage-sama and the fourth generation of Kazekage-sama broke the land of the Rain Country. You are responsible for repairing it. Snort. 5 against 4. Yanyan and Sandyan unite, 2 shadows, 2 Renzhuli, and 1 puppet master. And Wu here. Yahiko, Nagato, Konan, Wu, and... It's this thing again. This is, a war mecha. Onaki's anger was interrupted by Joe's exclamation. As the puppet master, she was naturally very interested in the huge mechas summoned by Satoru on the battlefield of the Kingdom of Grass. But today, it was the first time she saw him. It can act autonomously. Joe's face was ugly. Facing this kind of behemoth, the elite puppet dolls and the skill of manipulating multiple puppets that the puppet masters are proud of are just as ridiculous as children's toys. OM. The azure blue halo spread from under their feet, and Yahiko, Nagato, and Zionin instantly felt that their thinking became clearer. High above the sky, there was already the roar of a giant falling, which made the 5 of Onaki's faces look ugly. Giant ice thorns condensed on Yahiko's head, and the rain falling from the sky has turned into sharp ice knives. Nagato grasped with both hands, a stern look flashed in Samsara's eyes. A piece of paper floated up from Zionin's body, and a pair of huge paper wings appeared behind her. The war mecha silently drew out the 2 knives around its waist, and turned to the 10 white-robed puppets in front of Cho. Wu nodded in satisfaction, and glanced at the huge ice ball that had broken through the clouds and was about to fall. 5 against 5, let's start. At the same time that Satoru took away Gakure and Sagakure's bosses to teleport and disappeared, Hyuga Hinata on the border of the country of Grass, and Uchiha Fugaku on the border of the country of Kawa no Country began to lead the defense force. On the other side, there is Wu's mirror image avatar to assist him, and he fights steadily. As for Uchiha Fugaku, the furious Uchiha clan poured out their anger on the attackers of Sand Hidden Village after the 3 obstacles disappeared. Phew! Finally, he fought back and completely defeated the Sand Hidden attacking force. Uchiha Fugaku, who was wrapped in a strong murderous aura, heard his wife's voice. Mikan. Heaving a sigh of relief, Fugaku looked at Mikato's worried eyes and forced a smile. I'm fine. Fuyu, you. It's okay, I'm fine. As Uchiha Fugaku's closest person, Uchiha Mikato keenly discovered the difference between her husband and before. But she didn't think much about it, she just thought he was stimulated by Wu's appearance. Uchiha's glory and self-esteem have always been one of the biggest burdens on the shoulders of her husband, the head of the clan. We've repelled them, take a rest, let Nanayu heal you. Uchiha Fugaku nodded slightly, still not forgetting to command the battlefield. Properly place the wounded. Send them to the orphanage for treatment, the seriously wounded are sent away through the portal, the clan's body, check carefully. Yes. Captain. The Uchiha clan cleaned up the battlefield. As the blood successor Genkai family, they knew very well that on the battlefield, no matter what, they could not reveal even the slightest bit of their family's blood successor limit. However, it didn't take long, when Uchiha Fugaku was receiving Nanoyu's treatment, some subordinates rushed to report. Captain. Not good. What's so flustered? Uchiha Fugaku's blood-red eyes glanced, and the subordinates who came to report were shocked and calmed down. But he still anxiously said. Captain. Something has happened. There are many corpses of the clansmen, and they are missing. Disappeared. Uchiha Fugaku was taken aback suddenly. What happened? It's like this, after the clansmen cleared the battlefield, they found that several clansmen on the roster were alive or dead. The subordinate said anxiously. The battlefield should not have changed, nor has it endured a large-scale attack that could leave no corpses. This. Let the captains of each team verify the missing person witness records of their own teams, keep them secret, and be quick. Yes. Uchiha Fugaku pinched his eyebrows fiercely. Damn, how many people are missing? What's going on here? Fuyu. Mikato also keenly sensed something was wrong. Those people who disappeared, could it be? Just wait for the result, I hope it doesn't turn out as I thought. But in the end, Uchiha Fugaku still couldn't wait for the good news. Captain, we have already investigated. Uchiha Fugaku listened to his subordinate's report, cold sweat covered his forehead. Those clansmen who disappeared, after identification, are indeed clansmen who were suspected to have died in the war. Moreover, they are all elite clansmen who have opened the 3-go Jade writing sharing eye. Understood, keep the news secret first, rearrange the defense line, pretend it never happened. But the captain. Executing an order. Yes. Uchiha Fugaku grabbed his hair tightly, and complex patterns flashed in his scarlet eyes. Exactly, who is it? Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 262. Chapter 262 The Adults Want to See You, National Day 4th Update 67. The Third Ninja World War was much crueler than the second. The participation of Seiyang in the prime of life has directly raised the upper limit of combat power in this war. Kazekage and Dokage were held back by Satoru and the others, and Jiraiya, who had fought the third generation of Raikage countless times at the border of TNZ country, had gradually gotten used to the opponent's fighting rhythm. The three generations of Raikage have integrated offense and defense, with extreme speed, extreme attack power and defense power. There are really few people who can stop them. But Jiraiya, who has the perfect fairy mode and super battery life, is one of the few people. The ever-emerging fairy arts, the powerful physical arts that can be used for long-range attacks with the addition of fairy arts, and the unstoppable illusions combined with psychic beasts have brought huge troubles to the straight and fierce fighting style of the third generation of Raikage. I felt that this self-proclaimed Toad Immortal, one of the Konoha Sunin, might be a bit jerky at first, but after such a long battle, he has completely established himself in the combat power of the shadow level. Heals. Jiraiya, the old man admits that the current Konoha is indeed not to be underestimated. Returning in vain again, the Union ninja led by AI could not advance an inch in front of the Konoha defense force led by Jiraiya. Why, do you want to retreat? Jiraiya only has a circle of red eye shadow at the corner of the eye, which is the expression of the perfect fairy mode. As the one who started this war, the third generation of Raikage, I didn't expect you to back down so soon. Hold back. Humph. AI's body is still covered with powerful Thunder Dunk Chakra. Even if he is just standing face to face, he will not take Jiraiya lightly. This tired guy once used the long-range attack bonus of the immortal mode to physical skills to sneak attack himself from a long distance. Although he couldn't break through his Thunder Dun armor, he couldn't catch him either. Moreover, Jiraiya's battery life is too strong, and AI was almost injured by him when his chakra was exhausted several times. This is a truly well-rounded ninja. This old man is a strategic shift, you are just defending. When it comes to war, we in Union Village are the experts. AI smiled coldly, he was in a stalemate with Gillette here, what he was waiting for was a change. And now, the change has finally arrived. It's not the old man's style to fight you here. Now the time has come, and it's meaningless to continue unless you chase it out, but as Konoha's commander, you won't, will you? AI waved his hand, leading the Union ninjas and quickly disappeared in front of Jiraiya, leaving Jiraiya to look at each other with his subordinates. Just leave like this? They fought for so long and failed to break through our defense line. It's normal to retreat. No, there must be something wrong with it. AI attacked Cheyenne village from the beginning, then lured Tying to attack us, and then tried to open a breakthrough from here. He is definitely not such a casual guy. Ji Lai also pondered for a moment. Contact Minato and see what's going on with him. Yes. With the existence of the portal, the transmission of information is also real-time. Not long after, Jiraiya also got news from Namikaze Minato. Union not only did not retreat, but also increased his troops. Could it be that AI wants to break through the water gate? But this kind of thing, he has tried several times before. The third generation of Raikage AI naturally wouldn't just focus on Jiraiya's breakthrough, he couldn't attack for a long time, he also moved to the Tango defense line, trying to break through Minato's defense. But with Wu's portal, whether it's information transmission or Qianang's direct reinforcements, Zilla can immediately break AI's calculations. I'll go there myself, you should always pay attention to Union's movements. Yes. The coastal defense line in the eastern part of the Land of Fire, the war between Konoha and Wuyan village has fallen into a quagmire. The participation of the Kagaya clan, the strongest war family in Kirigakura village, has brought huge troubles to the Konoha defense force led by Orochimaru. But the huge destructive power of Orochimaru also put great pressure on Mizukage. Naoki's wood escape ninjutsu shined brilliantly in the battle, and even the 7 ninja swordsmen were successfully blocked by him several times. The brutal nickname, the Simple Wooden, which originally made Shenshu disliked, has also begun to be abandoned by the enemy. Instead, it was the name that once resounded throughout the ninja world. Thousands of Mori nape tree. But at the same time, Zishu was also ambushed by several inexplicable ambushes. The opponent's intelligence is very accurate, and they seem to know Mutun very well, they will even pretend to be Naoki's subordinates to carry out sneak attacks. This even once made the strength not what it used to be, and Naoki, who was chasing Orochimaru, was in deep danger. However, as a wooden escape ninja, he is already used to the feeling of being regarded as a thorn in the side of the enemy. But this time the attack seemed to be different. The Chunin team led by Nezuki is Shiranui Genma, Matkai and Ebisu, who were newly promoted in the previous Chunin exam. But in the previous attack, Shenshu stopped the enemy's sneak attack, let them go first, and dragged the opponent by himself. Now, he is facing the 4 teams of Kirigakure Umbu. Among the Kirigakure ninjas who are good at assassination, the elite who are better at assassination. Unlike Konoha and B, Kirigakure Umbu's mask has a slit at the eyes, a Kirigakure mark on his forehead, and other patterns. You people are really endless. The 3 of Shiranui Genmo left smoothly. Nesuke heaved a sigh of relief, and turned to face more than a dozen powerful enemies. If these boys are plotted against by you, I will really lose face. Naoki is about to start ninjutsu with his hands in Midra. Although there are 4 teams on the opposite side, Naoki doesn't think he will lose now. But the words of Kirigakure Enbi on the opposite side made him stop. Senjumori Rope Tree, Your Excellency wants to see you. My lord? See me? Don't be kidding, the enemy has nothing to see. Nakoki sneered, and was about to move, but a strange white guy emerged from under Kirigakure Umbu's feet, and slowly raised his head. What is this? Well, what is it? Baiju's dim eyes stared at the deeply frowning rope tree with interest, stretched out his arms, and then his whole body came out of the ground, twisting a few times. Naraki, right? It's really good to have taken over the title of Senjumori again. In order to block you, we have spent a lot of effort. Indeed, but this time you will be the same as the previous few times, it will be useless. Shengshu took a deep look at Baiju. Just now, in order to ensure that the 3 of Shiranui Suinma and the others could escape smoothly, he had been turning on his perception ability. In the vicinity, there simply aren't any other chakras. But the guy in front of him just got out from under his nose, and he didn't even notice it. Please come with us, my lord wants to see you. Kirigakure Umbu and the others were still speaking words that Naoki couldn't understand, but the difference was that they were divided into 4 directions and surrounded Naoki. As I said, there is nothing to see. If you want to see me, ask him to come in person. With his hands in seals, Shengshu is confident that he will wipe out the targets he just fought against. Ha, your lord, you won't be too old to walk? Although I can't walk anymore, but I'm really old. Baiju touched his chin and clapped his hands. Well, in this way, you will probably come. Clatter. Nakoki's eyes widened. A bunch of branches protruded from the body of the white monster in front of him, turning into a guy exactly like him. Wooden clone. Would escape? How is it possible? Rope Tree is completely not calm. Why did you escape? Come with us, when you see the adults, you will understand, he. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 263. Chapter 263 How Hard It Is to Be Hokage. An unprecedented sense of urgency rose in Naoshi's heart. Kirigakure Umbu of these 4 teams is completely different from the enemies he encountered before. And this strange white guy who can use wood escape is also full of weirdness everywhere. Of course, Zishu wouldn't let them say a few words and put himself in an unknown situation. Follow them. Wuyan is now called Blood Mist, can it be good to go with them? But what happened to Mudun? It's still the same sentence, if you want to see me, ask your adults to come by themselves. Shengshu's face gradually regained his composure. If he had just mastered Mudun, maybe he would have left with these guys. But now, delusional. I don't care how you got the wooden escape, but in theory, it's not completely impossible. Just relying on this to attract me, it's a bit close. Well, if you don't want to, it's hard to do. Baiju became distressed, his feelings towards Shenshu and Madara were actually very complicated. On the one hand, his ancestry was not very prominent when he was a child, and Madara didn't like him at all, and his identity was too special to be controlled. But as Shenshu activated the power of the bloodline step by step, and even after awakening Mudun, he exerted further strength and became a strong person who could stand on his own. Madara hesitated again about insisting on choosing the Uchiha clan as his agent. The current Uchiha clan, there is actually no one that can be used. This is Madara's original words after learning about the performance of the Uchiha police force on the border of Kawano country through unique information. Although stealing the eyeballs of the younger generation is a bit of a price drop for Madara, the Uchiha patriarch, he didn't expect to be able to touch so many in one go. What about Uchiha's glory? Faced with the joint attack of Saiyan village and Yanyan village, they still had to call for help. Therefore, Madara's eyes turned irresistibly to the rope tree on the battlefield of the country of water, which had grown up and inherited the title of thousands of Mori. The lineage of Senshou and Uzumaki, coupled with Uchiha's Sharingan. What kind of changes will be produced? Madara was very curious. Then, for the sake of not embarrassing Hashirama, I won't force you to make a trip. On the ground beside Baiju, another special Baiju rose. This guy has no eyes, and his face looks like a circle of tangled tentacles. What are you? A vegetable? Naoki's muttering made the scene suddenly silent. Boy, as the grandson of Hashirama, although your current performance is not bad, compared with him, it is still far behind. The newly appeared Baiju squirmed for a moment, revealing two eye-like holes. If it weren't for the fact that he couldn't move quickly underground without wearing Baiju, he wouldn't have to be so troublesome. Who are you? From Wuyan village? Shengshu narrowed his eyes and looked at the guy in front of him, always feeling indescribably weird. It seems, the other party hidden in this white shell feels a little familiar to him. This is, a feeling similar to Grandpa's chakra. Naoki was secretly startled, but he didn't show it on his face. Of course I know what level I am compared to my grandfather, and you don't need to emphasize it again. A guy who hides his head and shows his tail. If I don't want to go, can I come by myself? That is to say, you have been nearby all this time? Shenshu began to doubt his perception again. See you now, what do you want to do? What is your wish? Wish? To become Hokage, of course. Madara sneered. Hokage? Then your highest achievement is nothing more than being able to reach your grandfather's achievement. Don't you want to achieve an unprecedented career? That will have to wait until after becoming Hokage. Nakino's natural tone and innocent eyes made Madara feel as if he saw that damn wooden idiot again, which made him inexplicably excited. Why do you insist on being the head of a small village? Hey, my lord, you are not too young by the sound of your voice. Naruto spread his hands. Madara did not hide his hoarse voice, he could hear it, so he unconsciously used honorifics. Although this should be the enemy. You have never been the village head, no, Hokage, maybe you are from Wuyan village? Or maybe you don't want to do it? That's not important, the most important thing is, do you know how difficult it is to be Hokage? Ban was speechless for a moment. Never done Hokage, nothing wrong. And, it's not that I don't want to do it at all. But in terms of difficulty, I don't think it's difficult to be Hokage. Madara now feels that the grandson in front of him is getting more and more angry. Sometimes this guy is as idiotic as Senjuzuma. A state of mind that has not fluctuated violently for decades, was provoked by a few words from this little guy. You will find it difficult because you are not strong enough. With my help, you can be invincible and crush other competitors. Adding in your bloodline, your contacts, and you becoming a Hokage, that's an easy thing to do, and you won't even look down on that position at all. No, no, no. Use strength to achieve Hokage, it has no soul, let everyone agree and become Hokage, that is my goal. On the issue of dreams, Shengshu has never compromised. He looked at the mysterious big man opposite him with a serious face. My strength is a gift from my friends and teachers. Although they often say that I am a guinea pig, but I know that it is because they care about me. Rubbing his nose, Nakoki turned around and smiled. My lord, if the Hokage election is held now, my friend can win the top spot without any suspense, but he is the one who cares the least about the Hokage position. To be honest, after getting along for so many years, I probably understood what he meant. Without being Hokage, he can exert greater value and realize his higher ideals and ambitions. Even what he is doing now cannot be done by the third generation of Hokage. But I am not as good as him, so I can only take it step by step, first become Hokage, and then talk about others. Moreover, there are many friends who have the same ideals as me, and I am not sure that I can beat them, so this goal is very difficult. In order to achieve this goal, I have to work harder to gain the approval of the villagers. Humph. Childish. Madara's hoarse voice was full of disdain. With my help, you can surpass any of them. At that time, you can rewrite a war by yourself. Are you afraid that no one will recognize it? If you have different ideas, there's nothing you can do. Maybe an old man like you will be more stubborn. Shang Shu closed his eyes and was silent for a moment, then opened his eyes suddenly. You have my grandfather's chakra on you, it can't be hidden from my perception. Grandpa's old man cells have incredible vitality, and although your voice is hoarse, you are full of energy, and I am afraid that your strength is not bad. You transplanted my grandfather's cells. I don't believe it. Just because of this reason, you will come here and give me the so-called invincible power. The thinking is very clear, kid. Nakoki's expression slowly changed from serious to horrified. Under the white mask-like shell, where a pair of eyes were, two scarlet eyes opened. 3 pitch-black hook jades slowly rotated in each pupil. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziyu. Chapter 264. Chapter 264 Uchiha and Senju. You are, Uchiha. Shenshu was no longer familiar with Sharingan. Is this suspected old man in front of him actually a member of the Uchiha clan? Sharingan does not have to be used by the Uchiha clan, but only the Uchiha clan can fully utilize it. Madara didn't admit it, but didn't deny it either. Naoki suddenly remembered the research experience of the Uchiha clan's Sharingan written in the research notes of the second grandfather Senshou Fujian. Sharingan can indeed be transplanted to non-Uchiha people. But the Uchiha clan's control over Sharingan is very, very strict. So far, no one has heard of Sharingan falling into the hands of other people. Even if the Uchiha clan died in battle, the Sharingan he possessed would be taken back by the Uchiha clan and disposed of secretly. If the person in front of him is not a member of the Uchiha tribe, then where did these precious Sanguya Sharinans come from? If he's a Uchiha. Shang Shu couldn't help shivering. Uchiha, Madara. In the whole Konoha, apart from the 3 generations of Naruto Sarutobi, perhaps only the aged Mito Uzumaki, and the only surviving Senju Kazuma Tsunade and Nakoki know. Who is the god of ninja, the first Hokage Senju Hashirama, his closest partner and most dangerous enemy, the only Uchiha who defected from the village after Konoha Hidden Village was established. With the growth of age and independent strength, Naoshu learned more about the secret past of the Thousand Hands clan. This is also true of the research notes of Senshou Banma, and the opportunity for Uzumaki Mito to become the first Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. The legend of the Valley of the End, the great battle between grandfather Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara, the detailed cause and effect are always unclear in the legend. But although Shenshu didn't know the reason, he knew the result. Grandpa Senju Hashirama was seriously injured, Uchiha Madara died in battle, and the body was taken away by the second grandfather Senju Tomona for secret research, but finally disappeared mysteriously. This matter was finally settled, and Shang Shu didn't know how to deal with it in the end. Oh. You can really guess, why do you think so? Madara was taken aback for a moment, apparently not expecting Naoki to call out his name in one gulp. When the second Hokage Senju Tomona was in office, there was a major civil strife in the Uchiha clan, which brought huge losses to the village. There was cold sweat on Shengshu's forehead, but he still took a deep breath and slowly narrated his judgment. That civil strife made the Uchiha clan one of the ultimate pupil techniques, Izanagi, who was known by the village's senior management. I see, as expected, he is a ninja who has inherited the thousands of Mori. When the rope tree said this, Madara understood. Speaking of which, back then, the one who was most afraid of Uchiha Madara's return to Konoha was not the Konoha families who were deeply afraid of him, but his own family, Uchiha. Because, when he left the village, not even a single clansman was willing to follow him. They all betrayed him. Therefore, after the Battle of the Valley of Ending, the Uchiha clan breathed a sigh of relief. It's impossible for the Uchiha clan to steal Madara's body, so it's okay if you don't know Izanagi. When the ultimate pupil technique of Sharingan was learned by Senshou Fujian, the top intelligence, there are more possibilities for the whereabouts of Uchiha Madara's body. So, it's that bastard in Kinshaobun. The white outer shell was pulled away, revealing a mottled and aged face. After all, it is the Qianshao family. Although they no longer have the name of Qianshao, the background is still profound. The rope tree's body was trembling slightly. The moment Uchiha Madara showed his true face in front of him, it was decided that this matter could not be good. Either Madara achieves his goal, or, since it's you, I'd rather die than fall into your scheme. He, interesting, but in the final analysis, I'm just a ghost on the verge of death. If we really fight, I might not be as good as them. Uchiha Madara tilted his head, and then Awaka with a face of "you're kidding me" suddenly came to his senses. These people are the Umbu of Wuyan village. Do you control Wuyan village? No. Not yet. Madara raised the corner of her mouth slightly. They're just being controlled by my illusion, it's not a difficult thing. Not yet. Shengshu's heart sank slightly. Could it be that during this period of time, the targets we have been fighting, besides Wuyan village, are thinking of Baiju's characteristic of sneaking into the ground and being unable to be perceived by himself? Shengshu's expression turned ugly. There are these things, even your old man did it yourself. This is just some of my toy creations, that is, it has some special functions. If I don't give Wuyan village some confidence, they may have run back to the sea to hide. If the strength is well preserved, it will be inconvenient for me to control. A wooden stick grew out of Baizi's feet. Uchiha Madara leaned on it like a crutch, and coughed twice as I get older, I feel tired when I talk a little, then, you know who I am, and you know how high I used to be. Now, do you still doubt what I said to you? Don't pretend. I have no doubt that you can give me great strength, but that's the same sentence, that's not what I want. Nakoki calmly refused again. Also, you never said what the price for gaining power is. The price, yes, everything has a price, and power is no exception. Madara Uchiha raised his stick, and slapped Baizi, who was starting to writhe because he felt bored. Don't worry, you are Zujian's grandson, and I don't have to plot against your grandson. It's also good to negotiate terms openly and openly. He stared at the rope tree and paused word by word. I want you to be my agent, find a young man and ask him to do one thing. So simple? No, it's not easy. Uchiha Madara narrowed his eyes slightly, and his voice became cold. This matter is a heavy burden on that person, and he probably doesn't have the ability yet, so it's not easy to do. Hide your identity, do this for me, and you will get a power that can rival your grandfather Senshou Bashirama. This deal, I reject. Rope Tree decisively interrupted Madara's temptation. I'm not interested in becoming an agent. With your name, Grandpa will probably be very angry if he finds out. Moreover, I don't think that the power you give will be more reliable than my own power. I see, he is as stubborn as that guy in Hashirama. Inexplicably, there was a hint of emotion on the spotted face. Although it is very annoying to be rejected by the juniors, but maybe it has been suppressed for many years in the ground, Madara thinks, this feeling. It seems that the situation with Zuma when he was young is somewhat similar. Since you insist, I won't embarrass you for Hashirama's sake, but it's up to you whether you can go back alive. What a pity, I thought you would be a good choice. Naoki was startled, and just as he put on the not seal posture, his eyes were involuntarily attracted by those scarlet pupils. Oops. I'm just washing away your memories of this period, let's just come out and relax today. The descendants of Hashirama are indeed all wooden-headed, and the descendants of my Uchiha are still active in thinking. Naoki woke up with a jerk, nothing changed around him, and the foggy shadows in four directions were slowly surrounding him. Fortunately, Xianjian and the others escaped. It still takes a lot of effort to deal with these guys. With hands in mudra, Shenshu launched an attack on the enemy. But he had a trace of doubt inexplicably in his heart. My chakra seems to have recovered quite a bit, as if I've rested for a while. Have I become stronger again? Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 265. Chapter 265 8 Gates Dungia Formation. These seemingly weird Kirigaku Umbu are not interested in fighting. After Shenshu showed great strength and killed half of them, the rest of them retreated without dying. Didn't they come to kill me? Retreat in spite of difficulties. Although Zishu was strange, he was worried about the Genma 3 who left before, so he didn't think too much, and immediately went to follow them. Chakra was consumed a lot, but fortunately, I didn't suffer any serious injuries. Where did they go? Kagura mined. After searching around, he couldn't find it. Shenshu could only concentrate on a wide range of perception. With his current strength, the range of Kagura's mind. Shenshu, who had just closed his eyes, opened them in shock, and turned his head in one direction. Such a huge chakra. How is it possible? The strength of this chakra has already affected my perception of the vicinity, but why is it so violent? There must be a problem. Shenshu immediately spread out at full speed, rushing towards the perceived direction. I don't know who the owner of chakra is. I hope Genma and the others don't get involved in a battle of this level. Even if I am now, I will definitely die in front of this chakra. Time back to 10 minutes ago. In the jungle, Genma Shiranui, Matkai, and Ebisu, who were fleeing desperately, looked palely at the group of people who stopped them. That's right, a group of people. Standard Wuyan village-style dress, all wrapped in bandages. Then, all of them were holding or carrying strangely shaped knives. For the newly promoted Chunin who was outstanding in the battle with Wuyan village, the three of them could easily recognize the identity of the visitor. The trump card of Wuyan village is the 7 ninja swordsmen. Known as 7 men and 7 knives, the Wuyan elite who captured a country. It's miserable, why did we meet 7 of them? Now, we can't deal with it? Shiranui Xianjian held Qianben in his mouth, and felt his mouth full of bitterness, but the demeanor that needs to be maintained should not be messed up in the slightest. He didn't seem to change his face. A total of 7 people, how many of us are dealt with? Does it mean that we have made a name for ourselves during this period of time? Akai forced a laugh, thinking secretly, if he opened the 8 doors Dungia, how sure would he be? But unfortunately, even if he can open up to 5 doors now, facing each other is still dead. It's hard to say whether you can fight off the other person. Those are 7 elite Jainin who are good at attacking together. Damn it, can't you even delay it? Ebisu pushed his sunglasses, forced a smile. Master Nikeke is dealing with those Kirigaku Umbu, if you can delay for a while, maybe. That's the 4 elite teams of Kirigaku Enbi. Even Naraki-sama, it's impossible to solve the opponent so quickly. Shiranui Genma sighed. In short, it is impossible for us to be killed without resistance, let's do our best, even if we hurt them, it's good. Well, your courage is commendable, seeing that we didn't escape, but then again, it's useless to escape, right? Akai and Ebisu calmed down after listening to each other's nonsense. Since it's useless to escape, of course we have to resist. Shua. Just when they were about to attack with all their strength, a figure exuding green light suddenly appeared in front of them and the enemy. Aha, young people, your youth is not yet at the time of withering, just let me do the burning of youth. Dad, Dad. Akai opened his mouth wide, looking at the person in front of him in shock. Konoha is especially ninja, Matt Dai. Shua, Shua, Shua. 3 more figures appeared, and 3 Konoha-chinin also appeared in front of them. Captain Ade, I finally caught up, there really are enemies. The 3 are Ade's subordinates. As special Jainin, during the war, Ade, like the real Jainin, will lead the team to fight. Hey, you guys, didn't I tell you not to follow? Dai didn't look back, staring at the 7 enemies on the opposite side. For an enemy of this level, it's useless to double the number of you. Tisk, then you are useful alone? Lokwai Chizang, who was holding a beheading sword, snorted coldly, and pointed forward with the sword. What gave you this kind of confidence? You are just a special ninja, and you are still an individual jutsu ninja. It's not like we haven't seen your battle before. It's almost the same as Orochimaru. At least, if only I die, these young people can survive. Adai showed her white teeth and smiled confidently. My youth has not yet ended. And their youth has a brighter future. Arrogance. 5 of the 7 people spoke angrily, but Ade was unmoved. You guys, hurry up. Father. We are Chunin too, and we can fight? Don't be naive. Ade's complexion sank. This is an order. You guys, retreat. As an officer, I will not let my subordinates die. 8 doors Dungia 7th shocking door open. Boom. The blue steam rose, and the huge coercion made the 6 of Akai couldn't help but retreat again, and it also changed the color of the 7 ninja swords on the opposite side. Akai. Youth is to burn at the brightest moment. But Dad. The other party is 7 Junin. Even if you open the door, you can't deal with it alone. Hee, I still have the gate of death, and relying on this strengthened body, maybe I won't need the gate of death. But this is the rule I gave myself, right now. Let's go. Boom. The surrounding air howled like a gust of wind, being crazily compressed by Daiyuki, who was exuding blue steam all over his body. Day Tiger. Ah! The huge pale tiger's head was condensed into shape, and the violent air cannon the size of a small hill bombarded the 7 ninja swordsmen, whose expressions changed dramatically. Roar, youth. Boom. Dad. Akai, let's go. This kind of powerful martial arts, Master Dai will definitely win. It was obviously not the first time that Ade's 3 subordinates saw Dai's 7th gate. They grabbed Akai and the 3 of them and retreated quickly. Don't worry, in terms of attack power, Lord Ade can definitely surpass most of the Jainin. The 6 left quickly, and Dai finally breathed a sigh of relief. Huh, sure enough, Day Tiger is not enough to deal with you. Looking at the 7 ninja swordsmen who completely blocked his attack despite being embarrassed, Dai smiled slightly, and hit his heart with his right hand. 8 door Dungia 8th door of death, open. Boom. Crimson steam violently erupted from Dai's body, dyeing his hair, eyebrows, beard, and even the surrounding space red. What is that? The moment the red steam appeared, the 7 ninja swordsmen could no longer see Dai's figure clearly. It's a pity, Chow Peacock, Day Tiger, Night Elephant, after that, there should be a strongest move, I don't have time to develop it. Limiting the range of activities of the 7 ninja swordsmen with high-speed movement, Ade smiled freely. I also want to thank Brother Wu for strengthening, otherwise, even if the 8-door Dungia formation is opened, it is still unknown whether I can beat them. But now, in front of me who is burning with youth, you all go to hell. 8-gate Dungia formation. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 266. Chapter 266 Feasibility of Soul Transfer, National Day 4th Update 77. The roar of landslides and the mighty coercion of the boiling chakra made Naisha speed up again. However, when he arrived at his destination, everything was settled. 7 ninja swordsmen. This is, Brother Dai. The last scenes Isha saw was 7 inhuman corpses, scattered weapons, and Matt Dai, whose body was red with meridians, half kneeling on the ground. Shengshu rushed in front of Dai, but did not dare to touch him. Brother Dai. You opened the door to death. Due to Wu's relationship and the strength of the Beiman Dungia, Konoha has already paid attention to Taijutsu ninjas. Therefore, most of them know the forbidden technique of Beiman Dungia, who is a jonin. But the so-called 8th door of death, the 8-door Dungia formation with all 8 doors fully open, only exists in theory. Ahem, rope tree, hee, I did it. Damn it. It's all me. If I were faster, Brother Dai, you wouldn't have to open the 8th door. Shengshu gritted his teeth, and punched the ground heavily, feeling extremely remorseful. No. Cough cough, I protected, and the person I want to protect is a worthy death. Dai was panting with difficulty. In the state of the 8-door Dungia formation, he wiped out all the 7 ninja swordsmen when he only used Zixiang. He understands that realizing the effect of strengthening his body many times is very important. Otherwise, with his physical fitness, he would have died violently before the opponent was completely wiped out. Shenshu, thank Brother Wu for me, but unfortunately, I can't help it. Ah! Shengshu woke up suddenly. He quickly took out a special arcane crystal, and crushed it suddenly. Enlightenment. You must rush over here. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Shenshu had never felt that time passed so slowly. Seeing Dai's aura gradually weakened, the light flashed, and Wu's figure finally appeared. As soon as he appeared, before Shenshu and Dai could react, Wu saw Dai's state. Ice barrier. Wow! Dai, who was almost out of shape, was frozen firmly in the huge refrigerator. Well done, Zishu, as long as people are not dead, there is still hope. Accelerate speech speed. My main body is in the middle of the battle, and now my clone is here. I want to take Brother Dai to Mr. Tsunade immediately, and report the matter here to Mr. Orochimaru. Yes. Shua. With the disappearance of Satoru and the huge refrigerator, Nakoki finally breathed a sigh of relief. Damn, how should I explain to Akai? The arcane crystal just now is the same as the one in Kakozu's hand. It can remind Satoru of a special method. This was originally the life-saving means left by Satoru to Shenshu. In a sense, Nakoki's calmness in the face of Madara just now also has the existence of this crystal. The 7 ninja swordsmen, huh? From then on, the 7 ninja swords belong to Konoha. Konoha's central hospital. Tsunade looked seriously at Matt Dai, who was frozen in the ice barrier. Beside her is Wu's mirror image. How, Tsunade-sensei, are you sure? No. 8-door Dungia formation. This terrifying forbidden technique is accompanied by legends of mortal death, and there is no reference left at all. Tsunade frowned. Not only did he not leave a reference, but even whether the 8 gates Dungia formation really existed was a question before wearing it. Judging from his current state, the destruction of the meridians is still secondary. The entire body function has been destroyed, and the vitality has been completely burned. He can still breathe, thanks to your body strengthening. In other words, Brother Dai's body has been crippled. Wu frowned, trying so hard to patch Dai, but still couldn't save him. Wearing a full set of enchanted and strengthened armor, without fear of ninja sword blows, he fought all 7 ninja swords in one go. But the damage to the body caused by the 8 doors Dungia formation cannot be avoided no matter what. The enhancement of his physical fitness only allowed him to persist for a longer period of time, and his attack power became stronger. It's like a water tank with a wall thickness of 1 centimeter and a wall thickness of 2 centimeters. The latter is more pressure resistant than the former and can hold water with a higher water pressure. Once the valve is opened, the water jet of the latter is faster and stronger than the former, but after all, if the valve is not closed, the water will run out anyway. And the formation of the 8 gates Dungia directly opened the valve, cutting off the possibility of it being closed. And the solution to the problem. 2 methods: either repair the completely damaged 8 gates and meridians, and at the same time replenish a large amount of life force. Tsunade pondered for a moment, then Satoru answered. Or, you can only change a body. Yes, but it's simply not possible. Tsunade shook his head. The forbidden technique of soul transfer, I have never heard of such a thing being done. The guy who was able to do this kind of thing in the past has no ambitions. Wu sighed silently. Repairing this level of physical damage is no different from rebuilding a body. Unless the Sage of the 6 Paths is revived, we can't do it now. The power of the 6 Paths of Yang can repair this kind of trauma, but where can I find this kind of power now? If the power of the arcane had authority, it would naturally be possible, but right now, enlightenment has not yet transcended to that point. But if I can transfer the soul, what should I do with the body? Tsunade turned his head in shock. Soul transfer? Can you do it? Only theories, not tried. Enlightenment only talks about theory, which is the part of necromancy that exists in the Book of Medivh. In Azeroth, soul transfer is a common thing. It is also common for necromancers to bind the souls of the living in skeletons or zombies. Not to mention, the power of the soul is the lower energy of the power of life at the same level as the power of the arcane. Along with the 4 elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, it is the 5th element. Therefore, arcane power can shape the 4 elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, and of course it can also control the soul. This is the origin of the necromancer sect. The study of necromancy was expressly forbidden by the Kirin Tor, but Medivh ignored it. He himself can dance so happily with only a remnant soul left, which shows his attainments in soul magic. Originally, Wu didn't want to touch this kind of knowledge. But Dai's situation is really a pity. It is a seemingly romantic thing for such a person who is really without talent and relies on hard work to counterattack the peak, although it is a seemingly romantic thing to freeze his life at the most brilliant moment. But what if there was a better way? If Dai's body tissue is used to replicate the same body, it is theoretically possible, but I need the help of Orochimaru. Tsunade was silent for a moment, finally digesting the news. But I have to say, this is meaningless, because the copied body cannot have the strength of his original body. He can only live as an ordinary person, don't even think about it, even with your strengthening. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 267. Chapter 267. Are you qualified? With the existing technical means, it is impossible to restore Dai's body. Moreover, the current Orochimaru does not have a large number of human experiments to conduct research on human replication. Even if it cooperates with Tsunade, it can only speed up the research progress. But now is the time of war, and as the sole defense commander, Orochimaru can't spare time to do this kind of thing. Although he himself would probably be more than happy. Moreover, even if soul magic is used to transfer the soul, it is not something that Wukaku's mirror image can do. It seems that this war needs to be ended as soon as possible. My body is currently engaged in a very important battle, and after it is over, there will be a period of calm. At that time, I can expand the transmission efficiency of the portal in one go. Satoshi's confidence cheered up Tsunade. In this way, I can use the portal to carry out surprise support. Heh, I really want to punch those troublemakers. Tsunade blew his fist, then coughed lightly. Dai's matter can only wait until after the war is over, but you don't have to worry about the negative impact of long-term freezing on him. Since the rope tree incident, I have studied the means of dealing with this long-term low-temperature environment. That would be great. I need to see the third generation. Tsunade-sensei, you can prepare to go to the front line. Okay, waiting for your good news. In the Hokage building, Satoru's mirror image is negotiating with Hiruza Sarutobi of the third Hokage. 3 generations, what do you think of the new regime in the Land of Rain? Do you know, we, Konoha, support the matter of neutral countries, which is of great benefit to us, but correspondingly, ensuring their reliability is the most important thing. Smoking a pipe, Hiruza Sarutobi took a deep look at Satoru with an innocent face, and grinned. You and Jiraiya are 2 guys, you can hide me completely Samsara huh? You guys are hiding this kind of killer weapon. Come on, Sandaime, you are also a knowledgeable person known as a professor of ninjutsu. Do you think it is normal for the eyes of reincarnation to appear so abruptly? Wu spread his hands. Mr. Jiraiya didn't report it? It's a safe approach. Until we figure out everything, we'd better pretend we don't know anything. Well, let's leave that aside. Then what do you think are the chances of Cheyenne Village and Yanyan Village accepting this mediation? It is impossible to hide the news of the big melee of many shadow-level powerhouses. Now, the fighting has been going on for several days, and all countries have basically received the news. During the battle, the strength displayed by Akatsuki's Nagato shocked the entire ninja world. They couldn't help but think that Nagato was Akatsuki's real leader. And the relationship between Yahiko's Bingdun and Wu has aroused their countless speculations. There is no doubt that behind Akatsuki, there is the shadow of Konoha. There is basically no objection to Akatsuki being qualified to succeed Hanzo as the leader of Yuyan Village. As for whether the Land of Rain can become a neutral country, we only need to see the result of this peerless war. Although Akatsuki's concept has indeed caused some countries to move. But it's just a movement. They won't let it go, and they still have to be subdued at the war level in order to completely end this war. Wu Leng snorted. He was very clear about the urine nature of these shadows. He has just learned about the recent war trends in the major battlefields. If nothing else, that fellow Onoki must be having a headache. 3 generations of Lei Yingge, if there is no accident, will definitely take this opportunity to break into the old neighbor, the Land of Earth, and no one can stop him now. Both Onaki and the 2 Jinchuriki are held by us in the Land of Rain. It is impossible for the Land of Earth not to bleed a lot this time. And then, like the last war, we will push the front line out, push it to the door of the invaders, and completely wipe out their vital forces. It's just a pity that killing Shadow directly would cost too much, and it doesn't match our Konoha style. Hiruza Sarutobi smiled wryly at Sarutobi's words and shook his head. In front of a shadow, saying that you want to kill other shadows, I always feel a little weird. And is Shadow so easy to kill? You and Onaki have been fighting for so long, so you don't understand. It is well planned and can be done, but it will inevitably affect the image of the village, and it is not conducive to the quelling of hatred. Satoru didn't think anything was impossible. It's not a trivial matter to have an accident in the shadows, it's better to upgrade the portal as soon as possible to kill their vital forces. At least, let them not dare to dispute again for decades. A stern look flashed across his eyes. Sarutobi Hiruzen finally showed the arrogance that Hokage should have when Konoha had the overall advantage. So, what happened to Uchiha? Wu shrugged. Uchiha, now their main force is at the border of the Land of Rain. Clearing up the continuous harassment of Sagakure's troops is just the next step of the strategy, and they still need their cooperation. How long will it take to win the battle in the Kingdom of Rain? Today will do. Odds? Must win. Good. Hiruzuru Sarutobi put the pipe aside and put his hands on his chin. Then, Wu, I allow you to take over the command of Uchiha Fugaku at any time, and you must completely drive the coalition forces of Sand Hidden Village and Iwa Hidden Village out of the border of the Land of Fire. Hidden Grass Village, don't worry about them. Yes. On the border of the Land of Rain, spies from various countries are anxiously waiting for the result of this great war. The fourth generation of Kazekage of Sand Hidden Village, the Grand Master of Puppets, the third generation of Tukage of Rock Hidden Village, the Four Tails Jinchuriki, the Five Tails Jinchuriki, Akatsuki who is in power in the Land of Rain, and the Grand Master Konoha. This movie-level melee, which lasted for several days, was finally settled. The young Xiao has proved with their strength that they have the qualifications to mediate war. The fourth Kazekage Raza was unable to fight again. Cho, the medical ninja and puppet master, was completely destroyed, and his chakra was exhausted. In other words, if it wasn't for Cho's late abandonment of attack and support, Luo Xia would have been seriously injured and fell to the ground. 3 generations of Tsuchikage Onoki, 4-tailed Jinchuriki Lao Zi and 5-tailed Jinchuriki were seriously injured. Yahiko, Nagato, and Konan are all chakra exhausted even with the support of the brilliant aura. Including Wu, also felt the exhaustion of mental power for a long time. The protective cover of the war puppet was also breached several times under the intensive attack, and the main body suffered a lot of damage, so it needs to be repaired before it can be put into use again. At the place of the confrontation, the land has changed beyond recognition. The bombardment of various ninjutsu, the attack of meteorites, etc., have permanently changed this land form. In the future, here will be another super large lake. The reason why Satoru didn't kill the 2 shadows, apart from the so-called image problem, was the threat of the 2 Renzolai's rampage. Nagato and the others were already powerless to fight anymore, and Wu didn't care if one Kuriki ran away violently. If there were 2, it would not be easy to deal with Wu in his current state. Moreover, as a shadow, there is always a whole card, but it has not been pushed to this level. Being able to take advantage of this opportunity to obtain a truce for a period of time is exactly what Satoru expected. Then, the third Tsuchikage-sama, the fourth Kazekage-sama, we Akatsuki, are you qualified to mediate the war between you and Konoha? Yahiko straightened out his breathing, feeling the spirit recovering slowly under the brilliant halo, his mind cleared up a lot. As the leader of Yuyan village, I declare that the Kingdom of Rain will be neutral forever. Please, everyone, be a witness. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 268. Chapter 268 Neutral Country. Witnessed by Konoha, Iwagakure, and Sagakure, the Akatsuki organization headed by Yahiko officially announced to take over the power of Ogakure village, and the Land of Rain became a permanent neutral country. The Land of Rain promises not to intervene in disputes between major powers, and aims to promote communication between countries and is committed to mediating wars. The Land of Rain is willing to become the center of negotiations among various countries, with Nagato's strength even surpassing that of Shadow as a guarantee of strength. In the Kingdom of Rain, war is not allowed. Otherwise, Xiao will directly expel him from the country. Onaki and Luo Xia were distraught and had to agree to Yahiko's declaration. Because they really felt the killing intent suppressed as much as possible from Wu Wu. If he hadn't had any scruples, Wu would really have taken this opportunity to kill them. However, killing them can be done at other times. If you do it now, the neutral status of the Kingdom of Rain will be forgotten. And at this moment, Onaki also received news that almost made him lose his breath. The third generation of Reikage AI abruptly gave up his attack on the Land of Fire, and directly took the sea route to attack the eastern coast of the Land of Earth. It was like a retreat from the last war, but the difference is that the current Union village does not have the ability to block AI. It can only be said that the third generation of Reikage is really easy to calculate. Mr. Tukage, you should stop calculating us, go back and protect the family business. When Wu heard the news, he looked at Onaki's face as if he had been slapped hard, and almost didn't laugh out loud. You can be regarded as old rivals, don't you think he would do this? You. Onaki flushed with anger. When that bastard AI retreated from you, you already knew, didn't you? Yes, but we were enemies a few hours ago. Satoru waved his hand, and Konoha made it clear that seeing the Land of the Earth being pitted, the third Reikage was also sure of this, so he decisively withdrew his troops and turned to attack the Land of the Earth. The army on the border of the country of grass, if you don't withdraw, you won't be able to withdraw. Onaki gritted his teeth. Lao Zi and Han looked at each other and shook their heads slightly. Fourth Kazekage Raza's complexion was also ugly. Attacked in the rear, Onoki and the two Renzhuli returned to the country to help. Without the help of allies on his side, he had no confidence in dealing with Konoha. It seems that we can only take a step back temporarily. I agree to a temporary truce. Luo Sha thought for a moment, and finally spoke. On the border of the Land of Rain, Cheyenne will not deploy defenses on a large scale. Never mentioning the war against Konoha, Luo Sha was still angry. When he looked at Lao Zi and Han, a strange color flashed across his eyes. Humph. A truce. The troops on the border of the Kingdom of Rain have all been withdrawn, and the old man has no time to worry about other things now. Archmage, at this time, you won't stop this old man anymore. Onoki didn't mention the war against Konoha at all. What he was worried about was that Wu would drag him here again. Doesn't he know what that old bastard AI will do in his hometown? It is not true that Union Village has no defense against Union Village. These two old rivals have always been on guard against each other. It is also a commonplace thing to plant spies and spies in each other's forces. Union invaded on a large scale, even if Onoki was not around, his subordinates had contingency plans. And with Onoki's mobility, as long as he gets the news, the speed of returning aid is basically not a problem. Provided he wasn't held back. Even the two Jinchurikis couldn't match Onoki's return speed. The third Reikage's plan was very good, taking advantage of Satoru's opportunity to hold Onoki and the two Jinchuriki back, to make ample profit in the Land of Earth. But unfortunately, Wu didn't follow what he wanted. Well, no, on the contrary, if you plan to return to aid, I can even give you a ride. Onoki avoided talking about the military strength of the Kingdom of Grass, causing a cold light to flash in Wu's eyes. This will not bother the Archmage. Onoki's heart tightened. He didn't dare to enjoy Wu's teleportation service. God knows where they would be teleported if he really let Wu do what he wants. Then, let's take our leave. Onoki didn't say much, and quickly left with the two Jinchuriki. It is impossible to stop the military action against Konoha. Anyway, as long as I retreat and truce, you Konoha will not take the initiative to attack. But this time, he obviously had a wrong idea. Let's do this for the time being. It seems that the two shadows are not willing to fail, so the follow-up depends on their own abilities. Don't blame me for not warning you. Satoru nodded to the three of Yahiko and disappeared. Snort. With a cold snort, Luo Sha turned around and left with Cho. Yahiko narrowed his eyes slightly. Senior brother Wu is really angry. They have beaten up like this. Fenying and Taiying still have no plans to take a step back. Nagato shook his head and sighed. With the power of Brother Wu, you will be restricted by various things. Our original thinking is indeed too naive. Yes, but this is the first step towards peace. Keep it up. In Shayin village, Luo Sha recovered a bit, and came to an ancient temple alone. In the depths of the temple, in front of a huge prison, the guard ninjas saw Luosha coming, and hurriedly saluted. 4 generations. Let's retreat first, and close the vicinity. Yes. Luosha's eyes looked through the prison's fence and looked into the dark interior. It was a huge tea kettle, and, sitting in front of the tea kettle, an old monk. Shower he, no, share the blessings. Yes, the 4th generation, please forgive me for the inconvenience of the old man. One-tail Jinjuriki of Sand-Hidden Village, Fanfu, who has been imprisoned in the depths of the monastery because of his identity as a Jinjuriki since birth, can barely see the appearance of the visitor. For the 4th generation of Fankage Luosha who saved the village from foreign enemies, Fanfu still has a good impression. Only Master Fenying came to look for the old man, I don't know, why. Snored. What else can I say? In Fanfu's heart, the figure of the huge sand shrine emerged. The shape of Shizuruichio sand is a raccoon dog with curse marks on its body, which is commonly known as a tanuki in ninja circles. Smelly monk, didn't you also hear that the guards are talking about wars and so on? Will Cheyenne village think of you as a human being before losing the war? Fanfu, Sand-Hidden Village, needs your strength. Luosha stared at Fanfu's clasped hands. Kazekij's inheritance, blood succession boundary magnetism, was developed by the 2nd generation of Kazekage after studying the seal of Shikaku. Having seen the strength of Renzhuli in the Kingdom of Rain battlefield, Luosha naturally thought of Renzhuli in his own village. One-tail guarding crane is good at wind escape, magnetic escape and sealing technique. Although it only has one tail, it is also a very powerful existence among tailed beasts. Ha! See it, monk, I will know it. This Fenying boy is also the same as his predecessor. He laughed, but then his eyes showed cruelty. Human beings are such despicable and ignorant guys. Do you want my uncle to sacrifice his life? Think beautifully. My uncle can warn you, smelly monk, if you dare. Master Kazekage, please forgive me. Fanfu sighed softly. I don't have fighting power, and I won't use the power of Shuhi for war. People should not be in this kind of relationship of killing each other and fighting each other. Try to understand each other, accept each other. Enough, Fanfu, I'm not here to ask for your opinion. Luosha abruptly interrupted Fanfu's admonition. Once the war starts, it is not so easy to stop. If I want to protect the village, I must defeat the enemy. His gaze changed from calm to cold, and Luosha's voice revealed a chill. As Renzhuli, you are duty-bound to protect the village. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 269. Chapter 269 I Must Be Alone. The armies of Rock-Hidden and Sand-Hidden continued to harass the border of the Land of Fire. Konoha's only advantage over the other 4 hidden villages is that the commander is strong enough. Under the commander, Konoha, with 1 against 4, faced an extreme shortage of troops. If it weren't for the existence of the portal and the medical troops led by Tsunade, the attrition rate had been greatly reduced, and Konoha would almost have no soldiers to use now. After all, a line of defense cannot be defended by the front-line commander alone. Therefore, in the face of the almost continuous increase in troops from the 4 countries, although the direction of the country of rain can be at ease for the time being, the crisis in Konoha is still not resolved. Although Yahiko wanted to actively seek dialogue and mediate the war, Yan Yin and Sand Yin, who had their own thoughts, ignored him at all. As long as this powerful combat power does not help Konoha, they can completely ignore it. In this regard, Yahiko has no good solution. When countries are able to win, keeping the war out is already the best result they can achieve. The location where Wu is now is Uchiha's defense zone, and Nanoyo's frontier orphanage. The three of Oniki ran back to Yanyan village to resist the elite troops led by the third generation of Reikage who came across the sea. On the defense line of grass, Hinata is maintaining a deterrent to the troops of Yanyan village on the opposite side with the help of the Wu mirror image clone and the repaired war mecha. At this time, Wu would not start the war lightly, that would only increase the casualties. Everything, just wait for the portal. The reason Wu came to the orphanage was to see if there were any weird children here. Looks like 5 or 6 years old, memory loss, white hair, nearsightedness. Looking at the white-haired kid wearing no Nayu's round-rimmed glasses who seemed a bit out of place with the children in the orphanage, Wu scratched his head. Brother Wu, this is a child who wandered from the land of wind. Seeing Wu staring at the child for a while, Nanayu introduced him with a smile. The third generation allowed the orphanage to accept homeless orphans from enemy countries, but this child can't remember his name and past, so I called him Do. He is a good kid, he can already perform simple medical ninjutsu. Enlightenment saw Do sitting in a corner seriously reading a book, experimenting with medical ninjutsu from time to time, thinking it should be a manual of medical ninjutsu or something. Yes, his medical ninjutsu talent is even better than Shizuen's, plus he lost his memory, so Nanayu hesitated to explain, but Sawu laughed. It's okay, Nanoyu, it's okay to teach him medical ninjutsu if it's because of his identity as a child from an enemy country, you can rest assured. You gave him all your glasses, which shows that you attach great importance to him. This child will become an excellent researcher in the future. Excellent researcher? Nanayu covered her mouth in surprise, but she knew what level of excellent researcher Wukao belonged to. I thought that he was just talented in medical ninjutsu. Well, I don't think I'm wrong, give this to him. Wu thought for a while, then took out a notebook. The basics of enchanting. This is not. Nanoyu recognized this notebook, which was created by Wu, and only he and Dashimaru have a powerful ability at present. After a pause, Wu looked at the surprised Nanayu and smiled slightly. You, not only gave him glasses, did you? Yes, I adopted him and gave him my last name. No Nayu was silent for a moment, and finally mustered up the courage. Brother Wu, I know, for you, Hush. Goba made a silent gesture and nodded apologetically. Thank you, Nanoyu, and then, I'm sorry, I have my own things to do. I didn't know what to expect or what the end of the road would be. The mysteries of the world are too heavy. One more person will bring countless uncertainties. I am still not sure that I can protect myself, let alone others. Before the peak, I must, alone. Well, I understand, a long time ago, I realized something. Brother Wu, let's pursue your ideals, as long as I watch you go further and further on your own path, I am very happy. Tears rolled down Nanayu's smiling face, dimming Wu's eyes for a moment. But just for a moment, Wu's eyes brightened up again. If he can understand that book, bring him to me after the war. Yao Shidu will become my direct disciple. Thank you, Brother Wu. Seeing Uchiha Mikoto's angry look, Satoru couldn't help wiping his sweat. Wu Jun. You guys are really, well, Sister Mikan, why are you so angry? Captain Fuyu bullied you. I'll beat him up. Don't. Seeing that Satoru was about to leave, Mikan had no choice but to hold him back. You bastard, no matter what you say, you don't let the girl finish it. Nanoyu, alas. Seeing Wu Wu's innocent face, Mikan just felt that there was nowhere to vent her anger. But thinking of No Nayu's gentle smile that seemed to see through everything, Mikan felt that she couldn't say anything. Maybe it's a good thing to be more decisive. Mikoto sighed deeply. I was too naive, thinking that you, a big ice cube, could still be melted, and advised No Nayu not to give up. Perhaps it would be better for her if I persuaded her to give up earlier. I'm sorry, Sister Mikan, I have something to do and I don't have time to think about it. I'll ask you to take care of it from none of you. Humph, man, give up everything for the sake of ideals? What an old-fashioned plot. Mikan snorted coldly. I can only be thankful that you have persisted from the very beginning, instead of abandoning your wife and children. Wu could only smile wryly. Mikan stared at him for a while, but could only change the subject helplessly. You men are really, Fu wants to find you something, and he didn't even tell me what it is. After what happened last time, Fu seems to have been on his mind. Wu Jun, if you can, help him, please. Captain Fu. Wu pondered for a moment, then nodded. Okay, the matter of the portal is now agreed, and the preliminary preparations have been completed. It is also possible to do it separately. I will meet with Captain Fu. As for helping, Wu helplessly smiled. If he can talk openly and honestly with me, it's no problem, but you also know the relationship between the Uchiha clan and high-level officials, Mikoto-san. And unfortunately, my dad is one of the top ones. If this layer of identity makes our communication difficult, I can't help it. I understand, but Wu Jun, you are different from your father, I still know this. Mikoto nodded slightly, sighed softly, and then resumed her usual gentle smile. I hope the war will end soon, and I can go back and teach Ataka. Speaking of it, I would also like to thank Wu Jun for your flame civet, Ataka likes it very much. He, as long as you like it. Uchiha Fugaku stepped into the space door in front of him, looking at the unprecedented scenery around him in shock. This is a huge space that makes people feel like they are in the universe. The endless starry sky surrounds the circle of space. If there is not a huge light curtain-like boundary, Fu would not be able to realize how big this place is. This is a private time-space. This kind of thing that only existed in legends completely stunned him. It is this effect that enlightenment wants. A private reception room where absolutely no one can eavesdrop. Captain Fu, are you satisfied? Wu beckoned, sofas and tables in the distance flew over, and even a service model butler with a humanoid structure stepped forward and served magic drinks for the two of them. Captain Fu, please sit down. What can I do for you? Guardians of Tirisfal of Konoha. Author, Ziujian. Chapter 270. Chapter 270 Fugaku's Plan. Uchiha Fugaku stared fixedly at these unprecedented novelties in Satoru's private space, and was speechless for a while. After a while, he finally shook his head with a wry smile. Enlightenment, it's unbelievable, I feel like I've never really known you before. Maybe, but the Uchiha clan, don't they have many secrets that I don't understand? Enlightenment gave Fuyu a mutual look, and the latter sighed helplessly. Okay, Wu, I'll ask you to call you that. In terms of strength, I should call you master. It doesn't matter what you call it, I never care about those. Wu waved his hand, picked up the cup and took a sip of his drink. Captain Fu, don't worry, even without Mikoto-san's relationship, I have always looked at Uchiha and the village from an objective and neutral standpoint. Actually, let me say something bluntly, if it weren't for some of my opinions and suggestions, Dad's attitude towards Uchiha might be much stricter. Yes, for this, I thank you on behalf of the Uchiha clan, Satoru. Fu nodded slightly. Other clansmen did not mention this, but he had already noticed it a long time ago. But I came here this time for another thing, Satoru. After the war, if you are willing to take over as Hokage, our Uchiha clan will fully support you. Uchiha Fugaku's categorical words made Satoru look at him unexpectedly. Hokage. Captain Fu, you think too much. Wu put down the cup, smiled and shook his head. The third generation is only in his 50s, and he is in his prime. The war has been going on so far, and our Konoha has not lost the slightest. Not only that, I even have the confidence to end this war with an overwhelming advantage. Under such circumstances, there is really no need for the third generation to retire so early. Where do we start with taking over Hokage? Satoru silently complained about Uchiha Fugaku thinking too much. In the original timeline, Konoha lost the third battle, although he won, it was a tragic victory. And Hiruza Sarutobi actively chose to seek peace and signed a peace treaty to end the war. As a price, Hiruza Sarutobi must resign from the position of Hokage. But now, the situation in Konoha War is very good. Wu is even confident that the four countries will not dare to commit another crime, so why take the initiative to seek peace? Why did Sarutobi Hiruzen take the initiative to abdicate? I don't think so. Uchiha Fugaku raised his hand and touched his right eye subconsciously, and said in a low voice. Heitake Sakumo doesn't count. As of now, in terms of strength, prestige and achievements, there are as many as 6 young people who are eligible to be the next Hokage candidate. Fuyu stretched out his left hand and showed 3 fingers. Jiraiya, Orochimaru, Tsunade, Konoha Sunin became famous in the last war, and now, they are either guarding a defense line, or sitting in the logistics center, playing a vital role in the war. And they themselves are the disciples of the third generation, with impeccable strength, prestige and achievements. Even Tsunade, whose strength is more inclined to support, also has the bonus of being the granddaughter of the first Hokage. Adding another finger, Fuyu continued to analyze. As for the third generation of disciples, among the disciples of Sunin, Jiraiya's disciple Namikaze Minato, already has the title that the enemy fears on the battlefield Yellow Flash. This is the best proof that he has surpassed his peers and is at the same level as the Sunin. At the same time, Namikaze Minato is also inseparable from the village's Renzhuli, which is undoubtedly a huge plus for him who was born as a commoner. Satoru's face became strange. Why did it sound like Minato was on a soft diet, but he had to admit that there seemed to be some factors in this regard. Nawake, who is also a disciple of Orochimaru in Sunin, is slightly weaker than Namikaze Minato, and his reputation and achievements are not as good as Namikaze Minato because of assisting Orochimaru. But the unique wood escape ninjutsu is also a huge bonus item, coupled with the status of the descendant of 1,000 hands. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is also qualified to inherit Hokage. After comparing the 5 fingers of his left hand, Fuyu stretched out his right hand again, pointing and realizing. And now the one who can almost overwhelm the 5 of them is you, Mightyman Satoru. In terms of strength, my eyes can see clearly what you have shown during this time. In terms of prestige, you may not even know how much popularity you have accumulated since the last war when your blink scroll was provided to the village for free. In addition to the fact that you are a high-ranking Konoha with young roots, the existence of your father Mightyman Yan is your huge advantage. As for merit, Fuyu spread out his hands. In this war, as long as you are not blind, you can see that your existence has changed the direction of the entire war. Without you, even if Konoha is twice as strong, he would not be able to resist the attacks of the 4 countries at the same time and still not miss at all. Oh, I feel embarrassed when you say that. Wu rolled his eyes and smiled. Captain Fuyu, what do you mean to say, I'm now the master of the game? If you add the support of your Uchiha clan, even if the third generation does not want to abdicate after the war, my existence will make him restless. Although the description is a bit off, it's roughly the same. Uchiha Fugaku seemed to give Satoru a meaningful look. But I think, with the purpose of the third generation, in this case, he will take the initiative to abdicate to make way for you young people. Because now is the best time for a smooth handover of power when the war is over and you have made great contributions. He should not make the mistake of his teacher, who made the mistake of hastily handing over the position of Hokage when the incident happened suddenly. Oh. Of course, if our Uchiha clan takes the lead and supports it, this matter will be more logical. Speaking of which, Captain Fuyu. Wu touched his chin, then pointed to Fuyu. If your Uchiha clan persists, you are also qualified to compete for the position of Naruto. I'll forget it, it's impossible. If the defense I lead fails, my Uchiha clan will be condemned by the big families. It is impossible for me to shirk this responsibility, and I don't want to shirk it. Uchiha Fugaku smiled sadly, and to be honest, it would be impossible if he didn't have the intention of being Hokage. But he understands that for the Uchiha Patriarch, the difficulty of this matter is inherently more difficult than other people, even civilians. So, you settle for the next best thing and bet on me, Captain Fuyu. Do you hope that the new Hokage can change his attitude towards Uchiha? Wu understood what Fuyu meant, and this was indeed a good way. That's right, since it's an open and honest talk this time, I didn't even think about hiding it. Enlightenment, last time we met, you said that after the war, our family might have a chance to change. I hope that the new Hokage can look at Uchiha from a new perspective. Fuyu scratched his hair with both hands, and sighed. I don't want the new generation of Uchiha to continue to be separated from the village because of the problems left over from history. This is the case with Itachi, and so are the other outstanding children in the clan.